Hey guys, it's Cynical Who here, and welcome back to another video, the fifth episode in me and Max's Series 1 commentaries, and we are back here today to discuss World War 3, the second part of the Sardine invasion story from Series 1.
Who'd have thought World War 3 would be such fun?
Yeah, if you make sure you do check out last week's episode, because this is the second part of two-part video of a two-part story. So make sure to watch last week's Aliens of London commentary / review. It is probably what we'll be going out as. But so a quick recap of our thoughts on last week. Good story, slower pace because of course it's a two-parter. It's gonna have to lead up, but even still, really good sort of build-up of tension and a fantastic cliffhanger, which we'll have to see how it gets resolved now.
Good balance of domestic life with the main alien invasion.
Yeah. I think I don't
even care that the farting aliens are somewhat inherently silly. I just think they are well executed.
Yeah. But I think because we're actually recording, we literally just finished doing the Aliens of London one a few minutes ago, so I think we're just ready to get straight back into it. I'm sure people watching want to get us to stop rambling as usual. So everybody, fingers on play buttons as usual, and get ready to watch the World War 3 in 3, 2, 1. Ah, there we go. That shot of Big Ben one more time because
it looks great.
Yeah.
Despite the fact it's flipped round.
Again, I love that shot of the wave going over the camera.
The thing about this recap trailer is it's actually quite well paced. I remember watching Spyfall Part 2 and thinking the recap trailer was a bit too long. There are certain things you didn't need. But this is only 40 seconds. An interesting fact I've just found when I looked this up online, when this was first broadcast in Canada, there was a slight cock-up. Because all this action here that's supposed to resolve the cliffhanger was edited out. Which led to understandable confusion among Canadian viewers. The error was corrected on the repeat broadcast, although the sequence appeared after the opening titles. Which seems, I mean, I can't quite imagine that. But it is unusual in... BBC logo looks a little high up there. But it is unusual in that we have the resolution before the cliffhanger. Before the title sequence, sorry.
Yeah. But I suppose... Yeah, I don't know. Was Chris Eccleston's name on the same line there as you can complain about last time, or...?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Because it's two lines. So it's Christopher, then Eccleston, and then they don't do the same for Billy Piper. I mean, they correct that for Series 2, but... What do you think of the idea of the text coming on during the credits? Because that was a new thing at that time. I feel like there have been better executions of that text since...
Oh, the names?
The way it sort of comes on, it's quite chunky and blocky.
I don't mind it. It could have been done a lot worse, but...
Yeah.
It looks okay. Better than the bloody Series 7 Part 1...
Yeah.
Where they just colour graded the titles and put some horrible texturing on the font.
I wouldn't have minded like the words, the way they appear on the screen. But it's just the colour grading, nice idea, but it's just poorly executed because it's just clearly been put through like your standard everyday filter.
And the terrible textures on the...
Yeah, that's the main thing, really.
Awful.
It's like okay ideas, but not great execution.
Interesting how this scene doesn't have any music as well, which is...
Yeah, this is something that we've talked about it before. I think Sega Nakanono could use music more sparingly. So according to Russell T Davis and other people, this was called Aliens of London Part 2 until the very last minute. And it was changed to World War 3, that is the number 3, and then they changed it to the word 3. And another working title was 10 Downing Street. Just looking at other bits of trivia.
The War of 10 Downing Street, imagine that.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll look something up whilst I'm here as well.
I mean, it does get a bit pantomimey at this point. It's like watching the Baron or pantomime villain. The way he's trying to cover his tracks.
Yeah, but it's entertaining.
Yeah,
so.
that's all that matters. Oh, and I love this moment. It's...
Oh, Chris Eccleston's fantastic.
It's just the way he switches so rapidly between the serious side and the funny, sort of just having sheer fun side.
I'm just looking on TARDIS
That seems a bit extreme, executing him.
I'm just looking on TARDIS Wiki, and on the references for this, it says one of the points it says is the Doctor calls Mickey an idiot.
Well, Mickey the idiot, the world is in your hands.
Yeah, of course, but
Oh.
food and beverages. Mickey has pickled onions, pickled eggs, and gherkins in his cupboard.
Wow! I wonder what we could infer from that. He likes pickled onions?
He's a salty guy. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, pickled onions are alright, but I hate eggs, so. Yeah, a lot of production errors in this one as well.
Oh, right, okay. Apparently, Russ T. Davies has stated that 10 Downing Street was never considered as a working or final title at any stage of production.
Oh, right.
Seems a bit silly in hindsight now, because that would have been seen as a bit too on the nose.
The Slovene scheme is also what the Dominators were intending to do on the planet Delkis in the Doctor Who episode The Dominators, which is just one of the worst ever, but I might make a video on that soon.
Lovely.
Yeah, don't waste your money on the Dominators.
Okay. And we have this moment in the lift in the moment that I never got... I never got the joke until I was much older. Just... Yeah. Oh, just... Oh dear. That's a bit self-indulgent, isn't it, on the part of Russell? But...
I spy. Oh, yeah. Oh, interesting subtitles.
Yeah, they've gone red.
Hmm.
Red, danger.
Oh.
Because we're watching this on the BBC iPlayer. If you're watching this on the DVD, are you living in the last decade? But
oh, don't be mean.
No,
The Series
I
1
like
DVDs...
DVDs actually, in all seriousness, and Blu-rays and physical media, but...
I prefer to watch Series 1 on DVD than on Blu-ray. I don't have it on Blu-ray, but I just love
it
feel
wasn't
of it.
made for sort of high-definition Blu-ray. And
I love watching it. I don't even care if it was in...
One is a very old sort of small TV that used to be in my grandma's house that only plays DVDs. And it's a much smaller resolution, and it actually looks better on there than on my bigger TV, because the colours come through more, and it doesn't look as grainy and dated. Just it's more enjoyable on that TV. Weird movements of the legs. I just love how Harriet Jones's mouth is wide open at so many points in this. You can fit the Titanic in that mouth.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Oh, now this moment coming up. Bit over the top, do you think?
Yeah.
Bit melodramatic. Ah, there's always a fire extinguisher, isn't there? Doctor Who can be daft sometimes. Emergency protocols. They give protocols for what to do in an alien emergency. No shit! On this shot here. Well, just
I mean, there was a shot a few seconds ago which sort of echoed it better, but the shots of the Celine running through Downing... Well, yeah. Number 10 Downing Street is fantastic.
What's interesting,
yeah, they look great.
They did a special effect that I don't think they did in future series for the sonic screwdriver. There's like a ripple coming out. It's really
Oh,
weird,
yeah.
these sort of things they do in the first series, but they don't do in later series. Such a good joke that they couldn't resist bringing it back, but of course never repeat a gag.
Mm.
I love this twist that they're not a species, but they're a family.
Ah.
I like how he says at your service, but they're not really at the service. They intend to blow the Earth up. Spoiler.
So, Arda Stadine, yeah.
I mean, some people would say the Slovene would be silly, but if you were watching at the time and you'd only been used to, say, Classic Who, great joke there with the alcohol, but if you'd only been used to Classic Who with stories like the Invasion of Time and like Time Lash with the bits of tin foil, they do actually look quite good.
Yeah.
Was it really occupied by Mr. Chicken? I've always meant to look that up.
I'll look it up now. It's come up with a restaurant in London called Mr. Chicken. That's not.
Right. I just love this. He never stopped smiling. Had you never considered that at some point you do need to get out of the room?
Yeah, there was a guy called Mr. Chicken.
What, who ran the restaurant?
No, well, in.
Very nice
hang on, I'm
code
reading
blue, code green poster in that last shot, and then there's a sticker with the word porn on it on that door there. Which is nice, isn't it? For a family show.
Oh, fair enough. Was there?
Yeah.
I never noticed
very
that.
weird comical music there with the pizzicato strings. Oh, and I love this bit with Andrew Marr. The sort of, it goes back to what I was saying last episode with the humour of them just nicking any old bodies.
Mm.
They've summoned the RAF like that's any. Deputy Secretary for Scottish Parliament. Oh, this moment here. Chairman of the North Sea Boating Club. And I love his delivery here. Well, I mean, whenever there's an alien invasion, just consult your local boating club.
This bit's weird that it's like
go
in there and get out of your skin and ugh.
Yeah, I mean, there are moments where it's quite self-indulgent with the humour, but I don't mind that, weirdly.
So have the Slovene like been breeding on Earth?
I don't think so. I think they're just quite a large family.
How do you think Slovene breed?
I've never thought about it. Well, Robert Holmes has actually considered every single detail about the Sontarans, even the sexual habits and how sex takes place through a hole in the neck.
Oh.
I love how Annette Badland stresses the word end of the corridor as though someone got it wrong. I mean, I've spent many a happy hour speculating on what happened.
Yeah, just a Slovene wandering into...
Noel Clarke's acting is great. I mean, all the actors are brilliant, but...
Yeah, Camille Cadore is fantastic, and so is Noel Clarke. And
like I said, all the actors, fantastic.
I can't... Maybe apart from Adam, I can't really think of
a... on the verge of breaking down, despite being a male character, and we have all this emphasis nowadays on male characters. Oh, men should open up more, and it was being alluded to 15 years ago.
I was going to say something, but I've forgotten it. So.
Nah, can't have been that important then.
Oh.
Sorry, I need to stop. Sorry, that was
Sip. Imagine being called Sip.
yeah. It's interesting the reaction to finding out that Sipfel Foch has been hunted. Oh. Very similar moment to Midnight, but I pray thee remember the secretary. A little Macbeth reference for you there.
Oh, right, fair enough. I'm doing Macbeth at the moment.
I love how they're fighting aliens and there's a rational explanation for it. I thought... oh. It's actually quite a revelation that this insignificant backbencher ends up being a...
Yeah.
being Prime Minister. I think that's a great message to the backbench politicians who are actually principled.
Who are fans of Doctor Who.
Yeah. So this is we were talking last week about alien invasion being brought up to date.
Yeah.
Oh, the reference there to weapons of mass destruction, the Iraq War. That's the social commentary there. Very prevalent at that time. I feel like I should probably explain the context for those who aren't aware. So, well, people will probably be aware of the Iraq War, but from the point of view of the UK, I mean, George Bush in America wanted to go to war and overthrow the Saddam Hussein in Iraq because he was a very bad dictator. And as I understand it, they basically told everyone that there were weapons, that Saddam Hussein had nuclear weapons that could be deployed within 45 minutes. And everyone was saying it was made up at the time, and then we found out it was made up. And the Iraq War was not a great success.
Oh dear.
So it's just... So that's... And that acts as the inspiration for the speech later on, outside. And the attention to detail in the set, all the drawings that Mickey's done, the drawing of the TARDIS. There it is. And the missing Rose Tyler posters. And I love how Mickey the Idiot saves the day.
Yeah, again, like I mentioned this, we've mentioned this multiple times, but in this episode, it's actually Mickey who...
Yeah, it's the humans that save the day rather than the Doctor. But you never feel like the Doctor lacks presence, unlike nowadays. Apparently, I mean, Christopher Eccleston has alluded to production being quite fraught behind the scenes because he wasn't getting on with certain people at the management level. But you never get any indication. I mean, he was quite vitriolic there towards Mickey, and it feels quite genuine. But his performance is so fun, and you can tell he's really enjoying it at times.
Yeah.
Just last episode with the army pointing the gun at him, and he doesn't flinch, and he just smiles. Oh. This in the middle of the run episode.
surely it's not that easy to get into the unit.
I think the doctor gave him something, or
He gave him the password, but. mm.
and it doesn't occur to them that it's actually the Slovene.
Right. It does in a second.
Why has he got stop signs held up in his walls? I bet that was quite a wicked night out. Slovene. I love that. I love that line. The signal that could save all of Earth, but that's not as important as your two friends. I mean, that just brings it down to Earth. Yeah, the lighting, what they do with the lighting is weird. Like the scene in the lift earlier.
I mean, look, it's a nice idea, but it just doesn't work as well there.
I just love this scene. They're sort of where they, the way they work out that.
Yeah.
Now is it down?
I mean, this would have worked as a cliffhanger.
No, she was talking to Mum, not you, Mickey. It's such a long name, but it doesn't feel silly. Or it might do, I don't know. People find Raxacoricofallapatorius hard to say, but I
yeah, I mean, when you've had so many years of...
It's a great name for a planet.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting that they're allergic to calcium, isn't it? And vinegar.
Yeah. Hang on. Pardon me. That is just
look
disgusting.
He realises its game is up.
Nah, but it's just the bits all over Mickey's face is just horrible.
Well, I mean you find it funny though, wouldn't you? I'd rather that being thrown over me than Sarah Jane Adventures, where they had like this
soup,
this yucky yellow custard thrown at them.
Yucky yellow.
Notice what Christopher Eccleston does to the alcohol. Yeah, the gag there, and great editing. Now, when I first saw this, I thought Sipfel Foch was a character that we never saw. It took me a while before I realised Sipfel Foch was actually the policeman.
Was he? Oh. I like the name Sip anyway.
It's a bit weird for the Prime Minister to say humankind. So surely there would be some eyelids being raised at that.
Yeah, I like the idea that because in the Sarah Jane Adventures they have the orange, the blatherine, isn't it not? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I like.
Yeah.
I'd like to imagine that on Raxacoricofallapatorius they have green, yellow, blue, purple, pink Slovenians just wandering around.
Yeah. Can I just say, brilliant music from Murray Gold. I think it might have been an off-the-shelf piece of generic background music he did, but it really works here. Massive weapons of destruction. It's hardly subtle, considering the time this was made. because weapons of mass destruction came a buzzword at the time because it was used so often. Like strong and stable. Yeah, these creatures do not come in peace. They pose a great risk. We need to go to war. And of course he's making the details up, as we see in a minute, about the speed.
No, I've just looked at it on the Sarah Jane Adventures. It's more like tomato soup.
Oh, right. Well, I think there was a story in Series 2, I think, as well.
I don't know.
That was different. Because we saw the cousins, and I think they were called the Bane. But... I think the direct references to the Iraq War and the vote on the Iraq War are quite throwaway, which means they get away with the unsubtle nods. But I love this bit where we find out the actual idea that they just want to... They start a world war to blow up the Earth so that they can then sell the remnants. I find that a brilliant idea. And, yeah, very original.
When did the Sarah Jane Adventures start, out of curiosity?
I think there was a pilot at Christmas 2006 was when it aired, and then the first series was in the autumn of 2007. And then it was every autumn after that till 2011.
Chunks. Weird how she isn't in Slovene form at the moment,
and not only are they building, not only are they killing 5 billion lives, they're going to use the Earth to make fuel that's bad for the environment. I mean, different planets, different environments, but not exactly very environmentally friendly, is it? Raw fuel.
Oh.
Radioactive.
I doubt that's the least of the Slovenes' worries.
But it just shows how evil they are. Oh, great shot of the London skyline. I don't know if that's the library shot, but it's very good. This moment here, I love the news reporter. Like we said last episode, he's not been in a lot, but this is the most high-profile thing he's been in. But that line there.
He doesn't have any lips.
You might see it end. It's always the way, isn't it? Americans deciding everyone's... Well, just powerful people at the very top deciding the future of everyone. It's weird they can get American cable television from... Jackie's just sitting there watching it. She hasn't even... Just seems to have forgotten her jumper's covered in green goo.
Yeah, that is disgusting. You are
This
there.
is moving quite quickly. I was just looking at the time. We're only 26 minutes in and already...
Oh, blimey. Bloody hell, Jesus, yeah. But again, the pacing is just so...
Oh, a bit of humour. It's just...
Yeah, they're not
They're
too...
sadistic bastards.
Yeah.
Taking so much joy from it. This is the thing, I remember seeing a video with the RTD era. You have jokes, but they do tell you about the character, and they don't make it feel out of character. And of course with Moffat, that kind of fell by the wayside. You have jokes, but they make the characters hard to take seriously, or they contradict their character traits. This is the bit I always remember.
Yeah, again, Christopher Eccleston in a moral dilemma.
Where it's like the moment he says, I can't guarantee your daughter's safety, but I have to do this. No one else will. And just that line from Jackie feels very real, that acting there. When she says, oh, she's just a kid. Oof.
I never thought I'd hear you say oof. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's not self-indulgent. I keep coming back to that word when describing some of the jokes, but it's only a couple of one-liners. Other than that, I do think it's very well done, and it does feel very genuine and sincere. And it's just the fact it's so close. The council do actually decide to release the nuclear codes. Spoiler. I mean, it's a bit of a weird resolution. They decide to end it by just firing the nuclear weapons at Downing Street, which seems a bit extreme, but desperate times call for desperate measures, I suppose. It's a pretty tense bit of television, so very well executed. So.
No, that's a oof.
That's an interesting moment that they just... I wonder what was going through in Jackie's mind as she was just standing there looking down and thinking, oh, I could stop, but what if this, what if that? Oh, the nuclear missile coming out of the sea. Oh, that look, what have I done? I am Death Eater of Worlds, what have I become?
Too late to go back now.
Yeah. I love how Rose just takes the initiative.
Help you do what? Sit in a cupboard?
Just prepare the cupboard, moving things out of the way so they can sit in there. Oh, the look on Trinity Wells' face, the look of amazement that they're actually at war. I mean, he knows how to do it because he read up on the Doctor while he was away and read up all sorts of things.
That shot is very similar to one that was used in End of Time, I think.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking. I think it's a library shot, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, this moment here, where he runs. Oh, it's in a bit. Yeah, now. It's a bit of a shame they don't all turn their heads at once, but I do like the way he just doesn't really bat an eyelid and is like, "Excuse me."
They remind me of back in 2005. They released Character Options released these the Ninth Doctor and Slovene walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
Do you remember those?
No.
Oh well, they're sort of. Do you know the big chief figures? They're like big sort of 1/6 scale.
Yeah.
Really like quite expensive
Yeah.
figures, and they're really good. But the sort of if you try and find that Christopher Eccleston walkie-talkie, it's like a cheap cop-out version.
Oh right.
Because it's all plastic, but it does look very good, and
Yeah.
I do want to get one at some point.
It's never explained what those circuits around the Slovenes' necks are. I think that they're supposed to be translator circuits, but and the Slovene is just about to swear in a family show.
I like how the Slovene neck thing's different coloured though.
The fireballs haven't dated, and that shot there with the things flying looks excellent.
Yeah, that does look great.
I mean, it does show very well what a nuclear missile attack really is like, and the sort of horror and drama and the destruction that it causes. It's actually quite an interesting subversion, because this sort of thing is happening all the time in the Middle East, and it happens in England.
I love how they're just fine.
Yeah. But I just love thinking about it now. I do love the idea she became Prime Minister because it's the idea that the most insignificant person can save the day. It goes back to that. But of course, they undermine it with the Christmas invasion with Harriet Jones
being a dick.
Wow, I wouldn't go that far, but making a mistake. But I mean, you couldn't really question her reasoning too much. It gave the opportunity for David Tennant to be the Stern Doctor.
Don't you think she looks tired?
She does look a bit like Theresa May, actually. That person in the corner, the paparazzi photographer, looked really interested.
I have to go back and look at that.
Yeah. This moment, actually, that moment where they're hugging, I've realised the significance of that.
I like that time rotor. It's quite interesting.
Just realised how different the TARDIS is executed compared to the classic series. I mean, it's worlds apart, isn't it? Yeah, but it was Mickey who fired the nuclear missile and hardly anyone mentions him. No wonder he's pissed off in Boomtown.
Yeah.
You won't be saying that in Doomsday. The English eccentricity coming through. We've got 7 minutes. It's a very slow resolution. I mean, whenever I've watched it never felt painfully slow. Like, can you hear me?
Well, not a slow resolution, more of a slow Dame Newmont, but...
Yeah, but it feels necessary. TARDIS calling. Retro graphics there on the scanner. Oh. I just love the scene. He just can't. He doesn't want to stop for dinner.
Certainly also getting Runaway
He really
Bride.
is the Doctor. The poetic way he describes all of this, and
onto this bit of music's quite iconic as well. Well, not iconic, but I hear it often.
She went out quickly. Just saying that to shut her up.
It's a bit mean, let's be fair.
I feel a bit weird.
You've come back after a year.
Yeah. Now, I was reading up, apparently the idea of having Bad Wolf on the TARDIS was a last moment decision, and they decided just to have it throughout the series, sort of written on signs.
There's
it wasn't
a mistake.
originally
You
the
can
plan.
A few seconds ago there was a mistake when he was poking out the TARDIS. You could actually see into the box and you can see the window on the other side, so it doesn't look...
Yeah. But I do love the twist that they just decide that it was all a hoax. And I love this scientific explanation from Eccleston. I keep referring to him as Eccleston rather than the Ninth Doctor, but I do not care.
Mm. Oh well. Bad wolf virus, isn't it?
Yeah. I love that. The idea he wants to retain the mystery, but of course he'll forget about that until Series 6 when he decides to erase himself from the databases.
Hmm.
God,
canon is a weird thing, and it's...
Yeah, I did notice a few things that Stephen Moffat recycled. There's always a way out, and the idea that he's going to erase every single mention of himself from the database.
Yeah, as I was saying, canon is a weird thing, and in just a few hours it might all get fucked up.
Yeah. The idea that Jackie thinks Rose is leaving because of something she's done just makes it seem more real and goes back to what Rusty Davies is doing. You know, doing things that have never been done before and bringing it down to earth. And I love the idea Mickey doesn't want to go and they have to cover. The Doctor's quite selfless there saying that, but... despite the fact it pees Rose off. And this is a politician's answer because it doesn't acknowledge that possibility.
Yeah.
I think it's what they call a straw man argument, but I could be wrong on that. But I love the way it ends with her waiting 10 seconds and then deciding to go back in, and then Mickey just waits outside. Nowhere else to go. And he's a more faithful waiter. He's waited 12 months and been through a pretty bad patch. What's another 12 months or anything like that? When's the next time we see them? It's parting of the ways, probably, I imagine.
Yeah, I think it is. No, yeah, it is. They do go back to Earth at the end of the long game.
But they don't see Jackie and Mickey. It's surprising how thinking about it now, how long it passes before we see them again.
Yeah.
And yet, as recurring characters, they have more. They have a lot of depth and they stay in your mind. Just very well written and well acted. And this is a great last shot. And the way it's just a couple of seconds of silence.
And the next time just a fantastic episode next time.
One of my all-time favourite episodes of Doctor Who. Because I'm that predictable. I've watched this to death.
Oh, Naked Eccleston.
No, he's only naked from the top half.
Huh? Oh! Maybe they could have held off that last shot just to...
No, they needed to make...
get the audience in.
Yeah, because the Daleks come back. This is a big moment. Of course you want to publicise it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did... The big iconic moment, that was an iconic moment that had been in all the trailers. That iconic reveal. And the TARDIS and the music. They didn't hold they didn't hold too much back. I mean, the regeneration was supposed to be a surprise, but that didn't quite work out. It's contrast to nowadays where everything's held back, but it doesn't really pay off. But no, that's one of the best Dalek stories coming up, and I'm really looking forward to watching that.
You've got to get a nice balance of getting, not giving too much away, but also getting the viewers in.
It's all well and good keeping this thing secret. there was an interview the other day, wasn't there? We're recording this Sunday, 1st of March. It's 5 to 4
finale day.
And the Friday that's just gone, Jodie Whittaker was on the Zoe Ball Breakfast Show on Radio 2, and I happened to be listening at the time just by chance, and Zoe Ball was asking all these questions. Who is the timeless child? What happened to Gallifrey? Why is the Master? What's going to happen to the companions? And Jodie Whittaker was like, "Oh, I can't tell you any of that. No comment." And I thought that's definitely going to get people to tune in, isn't it? That you don't tell them anything. You don't even give them vague clues. You have to give people a reason to tune in, and it's not just giving them questions. like that. You've got to drop a clue relating to the answer, I think. But yeah, it's about striking that balance.
But yeah, World War Three in Aliens of London is just it is it's a great piece of television and a great outing for especially the fourth and fifth episode.
Yeah, I do think,
and it works so well as a two-parter.
I do think it's.
Sorry, I keep on interrupting you.
No, it's alright.
I interrupted you again.
It's one of the weaker stories of series 1, but that's not saying much because it's this series is very consistent. I think it's bloody good. I do think there are a couple of jokes that are a bit self-indulgent, particularly near the end, relating to Slovene being naked and nearly swearing. But I think other than that, I don't really have much else to say about it. I think what it intends to do, it does very well, updating the alien invasion, showing the consequences of time travel and the impact on the companion's family. And, doing things that Doctor Who's never done before, and Doctor Who feels like it's grown up. And the social commentary, while not always subtle, I think is very well done because it's such an interesting idea, despite the fact it mirrors real life and what was going on then quite acutely. I feel like it's such an intriguing and original idea, it gets away with it just about.
Just a weird thing, looking back on it, on my top 10 new series stories video, I rated Aliens of London and World War 3 as number 6.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I don't know. I think I'd still. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's very nostalgic.
Yeah. It's nostalgic. Very nostalgia for me. I do like it, and I find it very accessible. And I think if you want to introduce Doctor Who to your children, this could be a good place to start. I think the Slovene are very family-friendly aliens because the scatological humour will appeal to kids. I'm just saying scatological humour because it makes me feel like I'm clever because it sounds like a clever word. But I mean, people moan about the idea of farting aliens, but I think Mozart has a sense of toilet humour and was quite twisted. But I mean, it works in this case. I don't think it works with the talking frog later on. I mean, that could have worked, but. And I'm making too many comparisons to the Chibnall era. I think on its own terms, it works really well. It gets a bit self-indulgent in times, as I've said quite a few times in this video. But I like this story. Like you say, it's the nostalgia, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I've got the Wikipedia page. I'm just gonna see what the review said. So.
Okay.
Apparently, Arnold T. Blumberg of Now Playing gave it a C+. So this episode, he said, was better than Aliens of London because it minimised the juvenile humour associated with the Slovene. I disagree. I feel like the jokes were landed worse in this episode. Good performances by the actors portraying them. I agree. Some of the effects were lacking. I don't necessarily know about that. The resolution was thing. I think I can kind of see where they're coming from. Feels a bit of a weird path. The nuclear missiles feels like a weird idea, but the storyline of Rose's family, he says, is very well done, and I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a very good episode. I don't know the general consensus amongst Doctor Who fans about it, but I think it's a darn good, entertaining, at the very least, piece of television.
And that's all that matters. It's got to have some effect on you. If it irritates you, then at least it has some impact. But the worst thing that TV program can be is mediocre. And this certainly isn't mediocre. There's a lot of great moments in it. And I just find it very original.
Yeah, I suppose. And
very
I think that's probably...
at times, but Doctor Who is daft.
Yeah, and that's what you can take away from it. But I think that's probably a good place to end it for our review of Aliens of London and World War 3. Yeah, make sure you do check out our previous videos. Make sure to check out the first part of this video, Aliens of London, and the rest of Series 1. And make sure to join us next week for Dalek, which I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
Yeah, the return of Doctor Who's most iconic monster, and it's one of the best stories ever.
Yeah.
But we will talk more about that next week.
Find out the facts about why it nearly didn't happen at all.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure to join us back here at the same time next week for our commentary on Dalek. And thank you all very much for watching, and this is Cynical Who signing out. Goodbye.
Signing off. Goodbye.